When people talk about dreams, the first thing that often comes to mind is time. We measure our lives in years, in milestones, in deadlines. Somewhere along the way, we start believing that if something doesn't happen by a certain age, it cannot happen at all. Society tells us there's an age for studying, an age for marriage, an age for success, and after that window, it's over. But that's a lie many people accept without question. The truth is, age is just a number, not a barrier. Dreams don't care about the date on your birth certificate. They care about the fire inside your heart, the hunger that pushes you forward. Think about this. Colonel Sanders was 65 years old when he took his fried chicken recipe and built a global brand. 65. Most people at that age are slowing down, but he was just getting started. Imagine if he had said to himself, "I'm too old, my time has passed." The world would have missed out on what became a household name. The same goes for countless others who bloomed late in life. Laura Ingalls Wilder published her first Little House book at 65. Grandma Moses didn't start painting until her 70s. These are not just stories. They are proof that dreams don't come with an expiration date. They come with persistence. The biggest obstacle is not time, it's mindset. When you start thinking you're too old, you've already built the wall that blocks your progress. Age can't stop you, but your belief about age can. If you believe the lie that you missed your chance, you won't even try. And here's the truth. Not trying is the only guaranteed way to fail. Your dream doesn't care how many candles are on your cake. It only cares if you're willing to fight for it. Now, age does bring challenges. Maybe your energy isn't the same as it once was. Maybe you carry more responsibilities now than you did when you were younger. But challenges aren't roadblocks, they are training grounds. The years you've lived have given you wisdom, perspective, and resilience. You're better equipped now than you were years ago. You know how to handle setbacks, you know how to push through disappointment, and you know what really matters. That knowledge, that maturity is an advantage, not a disadvantage. Too many people use age as an excuse to settle. They tell themselves, "It's too late. I should have done this when I was younger." They don't realize that by saying those words, they are burying a dream alive. But the truth is, the dream never dies. It may go quiet, it may get buried under years of doubt and fear, but it's still there. That passion still beats in your chest. And the moment you decide to believe again, the dream wakes up, ready to be pursued. Age is a fact, not a verdict. Yes, time passes. Yes, you may not have started when you wanted, but what matters is not when you start, it's that you start at all. Life isn't a race where only the young can win. Life is about finishing strong, no matter when you begin. When you look at people who achieved greatness later in life, you'll see a common thread. They refused to let a number dictate their destiny. They understood that as long as you're breathing, as long as you can think, create, and act, you're not too late. The danger is letting society's timeline define your journey. People will look at you and say, "Why are you starting now? Shouldn't you have done this earlier?" But they don't live your life. They don't carry your vision. You cannot let their calendar dictate your dream. Some dreams take longer to develop because you weren't ready before. Sometimes the delay is preparation. What you see as wasted years may have been training ground for this exact moment. You must remind yourself daily that you are capable at any age. Your body may age, but your spirit doesn't. The dream inside you doesn't wrinkle. It doesn't grow gray. It doesn't weaken. It stays strong, waiting for you to say yes. People think that starting late is a disadvantage, but there's a hidden power in it. You start with focus. You know the value of time. You understand that every step counts. That awareness drives you harder, faster, and with more determination than someone who thinks they have forever. Age is not the enemy of dreams. Fear is. Doubt is. Excuses are. But none of those things have the power to stop you unless you hand it to them. You have to make a choice. Do you believe the number or do you believe the vision? The number will tell you to quit. The vision will tell you to fight. The number will say it's too late. The vision will say, start now. And the moment you listen to the vision, you begin rewriting your story. What if you stopped counting the years behind you and started counting the years ahead of you? What if you stopped thinking about what you missed and started focusing on what you can create? Dreams don't expire. People just stop pursuing them. But the good news is you can pick them back up at any time. You can reignite them today. And when you do, you'll discover that the best chapters of your life may still be unwritten. When you chase a dream, the hardest thing to deal with is the waiting. You put in the work, you sacrifice, you give your all, and yet the breakthrough doesn't come when you expect it. That's the moment doubt creeps in. That's when people start whispering in your ear that maybe it's not meant to be. That's when your own mind begins to play tricks on you, telling you it's never going to happen. But here's the truth. Delay doesn't mean denial. Just because your dream hasn't arrived on your timeline doesn't mean it won't arrive at all. The waiting isn't punishment, it's preparation. Think about a farmer who plants seeds. He doesn't go out the next morning expecting to see a full harvest. He knows the seed has its own season. He knows that what is invisible today is not gone. It's simply growing beneath the soil. That's how dreams work. The time you spend waiting is not wasted time, it's growth time. The roots are being built, the foundation is being strengthened, and when the season is right, the fruit will show. But too many people quit in the silent stage when nothing looks like it's working. They mistake silence for denial, when in fact silence is just the dream getting ready to speak. Every person who ever achieved something remarkable went through a season of waiting. Nelson Mandela waited 27 years in a prison cell before he became president of South Africa. J.K. Rowling waited through years of rejection slips before her manuscript was finally accepted. These people didn't take the delays as proof that their dreams were dead. They saw delays as part of the process. If they had given up at the 15th rejection, or the 10th year, or the 20th setback, we wouldn't even know their names today. Their greatness came because they understood that a closed door today doesn't mean every door will stay closed tomorrow. One of the biggest mistakes people make is comparing their journey to others. They see someone younger, someone faster, someone luckier, and they assume they've missed their chance. But you don't know the price that person paid. You don't know the season they're in. Every dream has a different timeline. Just because theirs came sooner doesn't mean yours won't come at all. The truth is, some of the best things in life take time to mature. Rushing them would ruin them. Diamonds take pressure and time to form. Fine wine takes years to develop. Why should your dream be any different? Delay also tests how badly you want it. Anyone can start a dream, But not everyone can hold on when the nights are long and the answers don't come. Delay separates the casual from the committed. If you give up too quickly, you prove that the dream didn't mean enough to you. But if you hang on, if you push through, if you refuse to let go no matter how long it takes, then you show the universe you're ready to receive it. Sometimes the dream is waiting to see if you're willing to fight for it as much as you say you are. Another truth about delay is that it builds character. You may think you're ready now, but the delay is shaping you into the person who can actually handle the dream when it arrives. If success comes too soon, you might not be strong enough, wise enough, or disciplined enough to hold on to it. Delay is a teacher. It teaches patience, endurance, humility, and gratitude. When the dream finally comes, you appreciate it more because you know what it cost you. And because you know what it cost you, you protect it, you nurture it, you don't waste it. There will be moments when the delay feels unbearable. You'll want to scream, to walk away, to forget about it altogether. That's natural. But every time you feel like quitting, remember this: nothing can stop what's meant for you. Not age, not failure, not rejection, not even time. If the dream is alive inside you, it means the possibility still exists outside you. What you need is persistence. What you need is faith. What you need is to trust the process, even when you don't understand it. People often say, good things come to those who wait. That's not the whole truth. Good things come to those who keep working while they wait. Waiting is not sitting around doing nothing. Waiting is preparing. It's improving your skills, sharpening your mind, deepening your discipline. It's using the delay to make yourself ready so that when the opportunity finally comes, you can grab it with both hands and never let it go. Delay is not a no, it's a not yet. Delay is not a wall, it's a detour. Delay is not the end, it's part of the journey. If you can see it this way, you'll stop resenting the time it takes and start respecting it. You'll stop asking, why is it taking so long? And start saying, this time is preparing me. And when your dream finally shows up, you'll realize it came at the exact moment it was supposed to, not a second too soon or too late. Dreams are not fixed images carved in stone. They are living visions that grow, shift, and transform as you grow. The mistake many people make is believing that the dream they had at 15 or 20 must look exactly the same at 40 or 50. But life has a way of teaching you new lessons, opening different doors, and showing you sides of yourself you didn't know existed. What you wanted years ago may evolve into something richer, something deeper, something more aligned with who you are becoming. That doesn't mean the dream has died. It means the dream has matured. When you were younger, you might have dreamed of fame, recognition, or financial security. As you grew older, that dream may have shifted toward impact, legacy, and fulfillment. That shift doesn't make your earlier vision meaningless. It simply shows that as you change, your priorities change, and your dream grows with you. A child might dream of being an astronaut because of the thrill of space, but later that same person might pursue science because what truly drives them is discovery. The surface changes, but the core desire remains. The dream evolves with the dreamer. Too many people give up on their vision because it no longer looks the way it did years ago. They think that if the dream has changed, it must mean they failed. But that's not failure, that's progress. The dream is not meant to stay small, it's meant to expand. Just as a tree begins as a seed and becomes something completely different in appearance, your dream is supposed to transform into a greater version of itself. If you hold on to an old version too tightly, you may miss the bigger version waiting to unfold. The evolution of a dream often comes through experience. Life has a way of shaping you through wins and losses, joy and pain. Those experiences refine what matters most to you. Maybe your dream was once to build wealth for yourself, but after facing hardships, you realized your true dream is to create opportunities for others. Maybe your dream was once to stand in the spotlight, but now you find your fulfillment in mentoring, teaching, or guiding. That's not a loss, that's growth. The dream is still alive, just more aligned with the person you've become. Another truth is that dreams don't evolve away from your purpose, they evolve toward it. Sometimes your original dream is just a starting point. It gives you the motivation to begin, but once you're on the journey, you discover layers of yourself you didn't know were there. You begin to realize your strengths, your passions, your calling. The dream that once seemed small expands to fit the size of your destiny. If you had stayed attached to the first version, you might never discover the bigger vision waiting for you. There's also freedom in letting your dream evolve. Too many people stay stuck because they think they must remain loyal to an old vision, even if it no longer excites them. They're afraid of admitting that what they want has changed. But there's no shame in that. Every season of your life deserves a dream that matches it. The dream you had in your 20s was for that season. The dream you have now is for this one. And the dream you'll have in the future will fit the season yet to come. When you allow that evolution, you live in alignment with your growth instead of fighting against it. This is why it's important to continually check in with yourself. Ask yourself if the dream you're chasing today still reflects your deepest passion, or if it's just a shadow of what once was. If it's no longer alive in your heart, maybe it has evolved into something else, something greater. The courage to accept that evolution is the difference between living someone else's story and living your own. Think of people who reinvent themselves later in life. Oprah Winfrey started as a television news anchor before building a media empire. Vera Wang was a figure skater and journalist before becoming a world-famous fashion designer in her 40s. Their dreams didn't disappear. They evolved into new expressions of the same hunger for excellence and creativity. They embraced change instead of resisting it, and in doing so, they stepped into their true purpose. The beauty of a dream that evolves with you is that it keeps you alive, engaged, and hungry. It prevents you from becoming stagnant. It ensures that no matter what stage of life you're in, there's always something worth chasing. It gives meaning to your growth because each version of your dream is a reflection of who you are becoming. If you ever feel discouraged because your dream doesn't look the same as it once did, remind yourself that it's not supposed to. You're not the same person you were years ago, so why should your vision remain unchanged? What matters is not that the dream looks the same, but that the fire behind it is still burning. That fire is what drives you, and as long as it's alive, your dream, whatever form it takes, will continue to push you toward your destiny. Excuses are one of the most powerful chains that hold people back from their potential. They feel real, they sound reasonable, and they often convince us that we are justified in staying where we are. Yet excuses have a shelf life. They expire. They lose their power the moment you decide to stop feeding them. What never expires, though, is the dream inside you. That vision you carry in your heart does not have an end date unless you choose to bury it under the weight of your own justifications. The truth is simple: excuses expire, not dreams. When people face setbacks, the natural reaction is to protect themselves with reasons. I don't have the time. I don't have the money. I don't have the connections. Those statements might be true for a season, but they are not permanent conditions. Time can be managed, money can be earned, connections can be built. What looks like an impossible barrier today can change tomorrow. But too often people treat excuses like permanent walls instead of temporary hurdles. They forget that circumstances shift, but the dream remains waiting for action. Excuses give comfort because they relieve responsibility. If you can say the reason you didn't pursue the dream is because of something outside your control, then you don't have to confront your own fear or doubt. But comfort is dangerous. It lulls you into a life of settling. Dreams are not achieved in comfort, they are achieved in courage. And courage begins the moment you admit that your excuses are nothing more than delays dressed up as reasons. Think about people who overcame unimaginable odds. Helen Keller had every excuse to give up on communication, yet she learned to speak and inspire millions. Nick Vujicic, born without arms and legs, had every excuse to surrender to despair, yet he became a motivational figure across the world. What separated them from countless others who shared similar challenges was not resources, not opportunity, but their refusal to let excuses dictate their destiny. They understood that excuses lose their strength when you stop honoring them with belief. Every excuse you hold on to has an expiration date because life keeps moving. The conditions that made the excuse valid eventually change, but by then, many people have already given up on the dream. They grow older, looking back, saying, I could have done it if only. What they don't realize is that the if only they used as justification may no longer exist, but the dream is still inside them waiting. Excuses fade, but regret lingers forever. The danger of excuses is that they make you believe you're being realistic. They sound logical, they sound protective, but what they are really doing is stealing time. They whisper, wait until next year. Wait until you're ready. Wait until conditions are perfect, yet perfection never comes. The perfect moment never arrives. Meanwhile, your dream sits on the shelf, untouched while the clock keeps ticking. The irony is that people spend years waiting for the right conditions, only to discover later that the best time to start was the very moment they made the excuse. Dreams, on the other hand, are stubborn. They don't fade away simply because you put them off. They remain alive, resurfacing in quiet moments, in conversations, in flashes of memory. That's why you can meet people in their 60s or 70s who still talk about something they wanted to do when they were younger. The dream doesn't die, it lingers, reminding you of what could still be. The only real way a dream ends is when you decide to stop believing in it. This is why it's so important to challenge your excuses. Every time you catch yourself saying you can't, ask yourself if that's truly the end of the story, or if it's just an obstacle to figure out. Most excuses crumble when confronted. They sound strong in the dark corners of your mind, but when brought into the light of action, they weaken. Action is the cure for excuses. The moment you start doing, even in small steps, the excuse that once felt like a mountain shrinks into a pebble. Excuses expire because they are tied to circumstances, and circumstances change. Dreams, however, are tied to purpose, and purpose does not expire. The question is not whether the dream is still possible. The question is whether you're willing to stop letting excuses have more power than your vision. The day you decide that your dream matters more than your reasons is the day you begin moving again. That's the turning point where possibility comes alive, where momentum is built, and where the life you've imagined starts to take shape. No matter how many times you've used an excuse in the past, you can choose to release it now. You don't need to carry expired reasons into the future. You can decide today that your dream deserves action, not avoidance. Excuses lose their grip the moment you take responsibility. The dream doesn't need perfect conditions. It only needs your commitment. Every day brings with it a chance to begin again. No matter how many mistakes you've made, how much time has slipped through your fingers, or how many times you've fallen short, you can always start over. The beauty of life is that each sunrise wipes the slate clean, offering you a fresh opportunity to move closer to your dream. Too often people allow yesterday's failures to chain them to the past, forgetting that today is a brand new gift. The power to begin again lies in recognizing that what happened yesterday does not dictate what can happen today. One of the biggest lies people believe is that because they didn't start earlier, it's too late now. They look at the years gone by and convince themselves that the window of opportunity has closed. But time is not the enemy, inaction is. As long as you are breathing, as long as you have life in your body, you have the ability to take the first step. That first step may not erase the years behind you, but it creates a new direction for the years ahead of you. And when you commit to taking that step, momentum begins to build, pulling you out of regret and into possibility. Starting again requires humility. It means admitting that you've made mistakes, that you've let opportunities slip, or that you've been afraid. But humility is not weakness. It's strength in disguise because it frees you from pride, excuses, and the need to appear perfect. Humility allows you to say, yes, I fell down, but I'm willing to stand up again. The world doesn't remember how many times you fell. It remembers how many times you got back up. Each new beginning also comes with lessons from the past. Every failure teaches you something. Every setback carries wisdom, and every delay equips you with insight you didn't have before. When you start over, you're not beginning from scratch, you're beginning with experience. That experience becomes fuel, giving you the resilience to handle challenges that would have broken you before. What once felt like wasted time can actually become preparation because the mistakes of yesterday prepare you to walk more wisely today. The danger is allowing guilt and regret to convince you that you're unworthy of starting again. Many people carry the weight of, if only. If only I had tried harder. If only I had believed in myself sooner. If only I hadn't wasted so much time. That mindset creates paralysis, trapping you in a cycle of shame. But guilt is not a life sentence. You don't need to stay imprisoned by what you didn't do. You have the power to choose differently now. You can turn regret into resolve, letting the pain of the past push you toward action in the present. Another truth about beginning again is that it doesn't require giant leaps. Too often people think they must overhaul their entire life overnight, but that pressure keeps them from starting at all. New beginnings can start small. A single phone call, a single step, a single choice to try again is enough to create movement. Small steps build confidence, and confidence builds momentum. Before long, the tiny actions compound into transformation. The key is to focus on progress, not perfection, and to recognize that movement in any form is better than stagnation. There's incredible power in refusing to quit. People who achieve their dreams are rarely the most talented or the most gifted. They are the ones who simply kept starting again. Every time they failed, they stood back up. Every time they were rejected, they tried one more time. Every time they felt defeated, they reminded themselves that today is another chance. That persistence is what separates dreamers from achievers. It's not about never falling, it's about never staying down. Beginning again also demands vision. You have to be able to see beyond your current circumstances and believe in the possibility of a different future. Vision allows you to look at the same reality as everyone else, but interpret it differently. Where others see an ending, you see a fresh start. Where others see failure, you see feedback. Where others see lost time, you see a chance to make the rest of your life the best of your life. Vision turns setbacks into setups because it gives you the courage to try again, even when the odds are against you. The choice to begin again is a declaration that you refuse to let the past have the final say. It's a statement that your story isn't over, that your best days are still ahead of you. Every great comeback begins with that choice. It begins when you decide that no matter how many times you've been knocked down, today you will rise, today you will start again, and tomorrow, if necessary, you will start again once more. That relentless commitment to renewal is what keeps your dream alive until it finally becomes reality.